Namaste. Welcome. This is Light, Laughter, and Latte. Thank you for everyone joining us here on Oneness Talk Radio, Oneness Talk Radio YouTube Live, Oneness Talk Radio Facebook. And we get it uploaded to Apple Podcasts after also. I am here. It's a beautiful time. It's a sacred time in Palm Springs, Desert Hot Springs, with my dear soul sister, Mari Mendoza. And Mari is an energy healer, a master ceremonialist, an artist, a teacher, a mentor, an amazing star being with a lifetime of knowledge, experience, trainings in Reiki. We're both Avesa Medical Intuitives, self-ascension intuitive coaches, quantum clairvoyance, cosmic life regression. We've got all that. You've got shaman training galore. And that's where we're going more today. Taking all of that together. I was called to be here during this equinox time. We just came through the equinox. How was your equinox? How was your time through this great balance coming through? We want to share our profound journey. I felt called to come and join and be with Mari here in California during this time to create ceremony. And the sacredness and the power of ceremony is what we're sharing today, is the title of our show. And we are creating a rainbow bridge. We did. Yes. To Ecuador, to the indigenous Canary there with sacred family and the name of the mountain, Master's Mountain. Yeah. That they're back at after 2,500 years. It's a very special time. We've been joining all weekend.
Tosa Blue Mountain with Sri and Kira, the Canary. It was such an incredible, the shamans have been bringing forward wisdom for eons of time, and typically they're the ones that do the sacred ceremonies for the earth. Yes. And that's what I'm connected to. And so we were able to connect with them virtually, but also we created our own ceremony here to connect the rainbow bridge and all of our knowledge, all of our cosmic knowledge, all of that. So yeah, it's been an incredible experience.
And so we're going to talk about what I wanted to share as part of this ceremony. Every ceremony is unique, and we'll go deeper into Mari's understanding and the benefits of all this. But what I felt is this magic that happened of being a part of an intention, and each unique aspect, what it brought to it. And we created this sacred space that goes beyond time and space. And so this was a despacho. And then
it creates.
Here we go. Yeah, it was this despacho ceremony and the power that we felt with that throughout the day. And we're going to go into how we wove those pieces and then connecting with our rainbow bridge in South America. So Mari, I would love for you to share that piece for me. It was also powerful. And I had visions during it of other dimensions, connecting with our multidimensionality. And so the one thing for me was you had this beautiful ceremony set up, and we're going to show a picture of that. That each ceremony was unique. And I saw interweavings with the ceremony I was able to be a part of in October in Ecuador with beautiful Canary people. And so these weavings of these, she had everything set up around us, and how the aspects of each of that was so sacred. The multidimensionality with each of those pieces even. So this weaving together of the beginning, our intention, the middle, the beginning. Can you share a little bit about that first, Mari?
Well, first the space is created, and we lay out the ground, and it's the ground piece, and it's a big square of paper, and everything's been gathered together for days.
Right.
I hear, I listen, but I've also been trained by my shamanic teacher from northern, southern coastal Peru, Don Oscar Mero Quesada, and the Universal Shaman, and his teachers, Don Celcio and Don Coriman. And so this is an ancient lineage that goes back, and it's an offering for the Pachamama. It's an offering of love. It's a prayer of love and a continually opening the heart. It is an offering through the breath of what they call Sami, is bringing light and blessing with our breath, and bringing it so that the prayer, and I've done these ceremonies for weddings and for death and for new beginnings. And so this was really inappropriate, because when everybody works together, they bring together all of their beauty and their love and weave it together. And that's what I like about despachos, is that it's a creative ceremony. It brings your creativity. It helps you tap into the childlike qualities of imagination and play.
I like those pieces. We pick that up at the same time.
Yeah. And you weave something beautiful. And in this moment, it's really important to stay focused on the beauty, and the beauty that we bring out of each other, the beauty we have inside of ourselves, the beauty of creation and creativity. That's something that we have control over. That's something that we can hold intention for. And so that's where we're always inspired by the beautiful, the candy, that there's candy and seeds for, and feathers, and all are honored.
Yes, and I'm going to bring that up as keep talking about that, Mari. I'm going to show you all this photo.
So this
should be shown now on the screen.
This is a weaving, and with our intention, we created a balance of harmony of many elements: the seeds, the bird seed, the flowers, the plants, the money, holding and anchoring abundance. And all the different things have a purpose, and it's as if they are really holding with our breath, balancing heaven and earth, the east, the west. It's always about balance, the masculine, feminine, the sun, it's harmonizing. And so as we are doing this, we go into a flow of creativity, and everyone contributes, and it's just stunning what comes forward. And because everyone contributes, that brings and weaves together a much more powerful energy.
I hope this is showing well. I'm showing the screen share here of this beautiful mandala looking with the pieces, all aspects that Mari's speaking of. You see the seeds, the cornmeal, the beautiful flowers, each one.
It's laid upon what they call a manta, which comes from South America, Peru. And the tradition is of honoring the Pachamama and honoring the heavens, the Wiracocha, the Texamuya, the great beyond. And the shamans in South America have always been very connected to the cosmic. And so that's why, we're entering a time now where we're elevating and moving into crystalline and cosmic energy, and blessing the earth and blessing ourselves and blessing our families and communities, and bringing healing. Just from that ceremony at the end, we fold it up, and when we're finished with it, carefully, and then it sits on the altar and cooks, so to speak, and it's radiating light, and then it will be released. There are two ways. It can be buried, so it's a slow release, or it can be released in the fire, which releases everything to the infinite realms, and all the prayers are sent out around the earth. So we'll be doing that at some point.
That it's been sitting there in the
Yes.
sacred space since
Yes.
we did this Friday morning.
Yes.
And that will be the completion of that for the
Yes.
expansion.
Yes. And part of this, there's a painting right behind this here. This painting came out of the inspiration. I've been working with the prophecy of the condor and the eagle for many years in all the shamanic circles and the fire ceremonies that I do. Because this came forward when I first stepped into healing circles. This was they were talking about a time that would come when the condor. So here we have, let's see if we can, the heart. If you see the heart there with the wings, that represents the condor. The condor represents South America. The heart, the Pachamama, the love, the feminine. And then the eagle, those wings, is painting, isn't finished quite yet, but almost. That represents the mind, the masculine technology, North America. At the bottom, there is a cosmic serpent coming out of the lotus, which is the crystalline that moves into the void. Let's see if we can do it. The void of all creation. So this is a spiraling, opening energy into cosmic connection, healing, harmonizing, all of it. It's just, it's a powerful moment that we're in. And so to be able to be a part of the ceremonies here, create a ceremony here, an anchor light here, and then connect to Ecuador was profound. Yeah.
I could certainly feel the connection, having been able to be there in the sacred areas of that mountain,
Yes.
the crystalline mountain, the caves of Chokshi, and the observatory there last October, which were some of the most profound experiences of my life, going into the crystalline portals, and us here coming together with that intention to connect, and the helpers that showed up with us.
Yes, my goodness.
In the physical and non. And that brings forward, what are the benefits? What are some of the benefits of ceremony? Because this is something that is ancient.
Yes. Well, what are some of the benefits?
Yes.
Ceremony is powerful in that, in this day and age, we have the tendency to get stuck in the head and we're in a technological age, and we have a lot of information. There's a lot going on. So we can easily be, pulled into mind and forget about that we're in our bodies, and that we need to honor that we're in these physical bodies. It's a gift to actually be in our bodies, and that we are bringing in a frequency that we've never had before, and to anchor it in our bodies and be of service to this culmination time. We're finishing ancient cycles. Like the shamans observe the precession of the equinoxes and how the seasons go. So equinox and solstice are really big. The temples all over the world have that. And so ceremony's always been powerful to step into that moment and be in your body present and celebrate, to literally bring forward your creativity, your intention, and magnify it. So ceremony is a way for community. We come together, we connect, and that's so powerful. If most people are noticing how important it is that we actually are able to connect and get hugs and physically.
Right. After the year we've had, how much more tangibly real that is, the importance, the healing of all of that.
Yeah.
That connection back to community.
So also being in ceremony, you're bringing your creativity forward, but it lowers stress. So you enter a different brain state because you're accessing healing, and you're accessing the intention of love, of harmony and balance. Sometimes sound, many times sound is used. So we use sound in our ceremony, and that brought the energies together, harmonizing. So, on so many levels, to let go of the stress of the day. Now we're talking a lot about stress in our modern world and how it affects your physical body, it affects your brain state, it affects your hormones. So to come into ceremony, tap into creativity, weave together connection, create beauty. Um, Ceremony is just powerful on so many levels.
Very sacred and honoring.
Yes.
And you step into that, maybe then honor ourselves.
Yes.
That feeling, that deeper. I was so transformed after our ceremony.
Yes.
I'm floating off for the rest of the day. We had a hard time functioning.
Yeah.
It was really very, very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
And so it's, it's similar to meditation, yet there's differences. Anything around that you want to share?
Well, meditation, much of that time your eyes are closed and you're inward. You're an inward focus.
Mm-hmm.
And in ceremony, you have that inward connection, but you're also tangibly using your body. And so you're physically, literally, you're tangibly placing things in the despacho and bringing that energy through. So that's powerful. I think that how it's different is that you have that inward connection and the frequencies, but then you're also, it draws you really present. And that's a really big factor in all of it. And the gratitude, when you're in the presence and you're grateful and you're tapping into the gift, because then you begin to feel and you see this beautiful, and then you play. The shamans have always been very, very playful. And so in any ceremonies I've been honored to be in the last 30 years, have been navigating and working with many different shamans from the world. They all have one thing in common. They will be deadly serious about what they're doing because they are listening and tuning in to the cosmos, and they are bringing it through. But they always laugh. They always find time for the joy. And that's what is so powerful, is that we can be childlike and playful, and also very, very focused in our intention for healing.
Connecting, creating all of it, right? Yeah. So can you tell us how did you, what occurred in your life to bring this ceremony connection to be such a big part of who you are now?
Well, wow.
I know I'm not a master interviewer, but
that could be a very long story. And
we all have, an ever-evolving, ever-refining journey.
So about 30 years ago, I found myself at a big crossroads, and I literally was dying from drugs and alcohol, and something called me, and I really always think it was a tap of spirit, okay, here we go. And the right circumstances came forward, and I found myself in treatment because I was very ill at that time, and gifted. I actually, during that time, I was in treatment for 9 months. I received a sound transmission and a light frequency transmission that was beyond anything I could even imagine. I opened the door one day, I was still in treatment, to go outside to smoke a cigarette at that time, where I was. And I was blasted with light, and I thought, wow, what a beautiful sunrise. Whoa. But I heard a sound. And it vibrated through me like I believe I had a transmission at that moment that changed the course of my life. And I was so stunned, I just sat there and smoked a cigarette for a little while. And then I went inside, and days later, I realized that was not the sunrise. I thought it was a sunrise, but
reached the core of your being.
It reached the core of my being.
Knowing. And touched that to awaken.
Yes, but it was the west I was facing. And so it was impossible for it to be a sunrise. So I had a miracle.
Yes.
I had a miracle. And then from there, and we are called, when we're called, it's unmistakable. And so a lot of people have that calling. And so from there, I was invited into Native healing circles.
The teachers appear.
Right.
Each of us in our unique journey.
Yeah.
And go
And
ahead.
I started going to sweat lodges and, powwows, and I had instantaneous memory of myself dancing, in native dress around fires. And I had dreams. I had series and series of dreams of what they call in the shamanic cultures initiations and transmissions, where I had lightning bolts coming in and absolutely awakening me. I had series and series of dreams, very lucid, vivid dreams. So since then, I've followed that calling, and they have unfolded. And there are times when it was
to the corners of the world.
Yes,
right?
Yeah,
With
to Bolivia and Egypt
Mhm.
and Peru and Lake
Cultures.
Titicaca and England, into the crop circles. And I'm an artist, so I started opening and having vision, and so I paint a lot of my visions, and I was doing mandalas and crop circles for a while, and
that all carries an energy and an essence for the
Yes.
receivers.
Yeah. So currently I'm creating a quantum healing deck that's coming out in a bit, called Cosmic Wisdom Sacred Earth. And, sound, light, ceremony, being together with people, we are activating each other. And I don't hear this talked about very often, but in other circles they call it. I heard in the beginning that when you go like to a sacred ceremony, or you're on pilgrimage, it's called a quickening. When you get around a teacher, it's called a quickening, where you step in and then suddenly things are bubbling up. And not always convenient or comfortable, but things start bubbling up. And so that is the frequency of that teacher, that mountain. It's that alignment, the mountain, the teacher, the temple, that awakens something in you, that activates your DNA. That this, one beautiful being that I traveled with for a long time, he called it the crucible. It's like a crucible where all of the unrefined mineral like gold is put into that crucible, and it's cooked. And then all the unrefined, the dross comes to the surface, the impurities, and that gets cleared so that the pure gold comes forward. And that's kind of the healing process. That's working with teachers, working with any of it, ceremony.
And the part I want to bring forward here that sticks with me with listeners is this, how you're talking about, well, that quickening, or when these something comes forward, the infinite in our journey, an opportunity to awaken. Are we aware to those? I know, some for me, well, definitely my big journey, as Mari shared what her past was like. Many of us had challenges, and it got to a point when we were crumbled. My husband died when I was young, with 6 young children, and it was so sudden, and that was my opening. And I was cracked open. And that's when some things came forward. I was able, that's my first experience of the unseen realms, starting to feel them around me, like holding me, rocking me. I would be at the depths of despair. And then there's this light and this holding. And that's like, okay, there's more, right? There's more. What is this? And then sometimes it's a book for people coming to them at that time. And that happened to me with my mentor, Shri and Kira. Opening the book and reading it, didn't understand it, but my soul did it. And I was cracked. I just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. So are we paying attention to these opportunities coming forward for your wholeness in this lifetime? And when you talked about the sacred places, and that's how we met, was coming together on a journey, sacred journey with Shri and Kira, and being in India. And then there too, why were we called there? And being able to be in sacred ceremony. And my mind didn't understand at first, why was I going? I just knew I had to. And then sitting in these caves and having memories. And we each may get those knowings in a different way. Some of us get a vision.
Right.
Some are real feelers, or a knower, or a here, the sound.
Yeah.
Like Mari talked about the sound.
Yeah.
So trusting that you may not hear, see, or feel this in the same way somebody else, but know that you're getting in your own unique, perfect way.
Yes,
To
absolutely.
be a part of, like Mari talked about, coming together.
And sometimes it comes slowly. Sometimes the pieces come one bit at a time. You know, like I was receiving visions when I was in Ecuador, at different trainings in Guatemala with Sri and Kira and the Golden Ray and the crystalline. I was receiving images, but I also was doing the shamanic work. So I've always, for me, I had trouble being on the planet, and later I discovered why. But I much preferred that high frequency, and I much preferred to be flying around, you know. And so to bring heaven to earth, that's part of the ceremony. That's part of the honoring of the earth, but also our highest, our crystalline, who we actually are. You know, if you got great ideas and you're flying around, and you can't bring it through and bring it to the earth, what good is it? You know, so I had to learn how to be in my body, how to take care of myself, how to stay present, and that
to feel safe.
To feel safe.
Safe, right?
Yes.
That's a big one. A lot of people are walking through too.
Yes, I had a lot of trauma, and many people have trauma, but working through that a piece at a time. And some of the medicine wheel, the Native people do a lot of medicine wheel work around, you know, the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. There's all the different aspects of being, and how, you know, with nature and through plants and, you know, treatments and ceremony and singing and dancing and coloring or sleeping, dreaming. I mean, meditation. I mean, there's so many different ways to heal and align, and you know, it's
all these aspects of the divine, these coming into our life.
I feel safe in my body now. I am empowered now because I understand, and that took a while. That took a journey of trust. You know, to trust that when I was hearing, you know, go to Guatemala, what is this about? You know, and I had just come off of Mount Shasta, and there was a Violet, the Navigating the Inner Matrix training with Sri and Kira in Guatemala. Violet Flame. And I was working with the Violet Flame, and I already, and then I saw that, and it was closed. I sent in an email, and Kira let me in. You know, she's like, yep, you're in, just come. You know, that was the beginning, and I was terrified the minute I said that.
Absolutely. And that's a good point, Mari, right?
Yes, I was
every
terrified.
Time your soul says, I'm going to take a step forward, guess what?
Yeah.
The fears, the mind, the ego are going to come up just as much. Try and stop us.
Yes.
We've both been
oh my God,
so
terrified. Like, and you just keep going. You just keep going, you know, and
trusting.
And then not judging yourself that, you know, part of what I do, I'm an artist. And so being in graphics and different things, there has to be some kind of precision. I'm very much about balance. I sing and I sound and I tone, so it's all about balance. So when I'm doing my healing, I sound and tone. My voice, it comes through me. That's part of Karuna Reiki Master and sound mastery that I've worked with for many years. And when the sound isn't right, when the color isn't right, for me, I can see and feel it. To trust, to really trust that as it's coming through, that as you're shifting, not judging that it's not right or perfect, because there, you know, I needed to experience every single thing that was uncomfortable in order to have something to look, because my life now is so different. I mean, my life is filled with beauty,
degrees, 360 different.
I mean, incredible people, you know, just the unfolding of tremendous creativity coming forward, that, you know, the impulses that are coming through the cosmos right now, and we are protected, you know.
Yes. Can we look back and keep finding the gifts of each of these challenges, forgiving ourselves? You know, what did I need to take forward from that challenge to claim as true aspects of ourselves. And that trust, keep on. Sometime, yeah, I remember, I mean, we both said, down, and something shows forward. Something comes. There's a hand somewhere, if we can even believe in that, to take that next step.
When we were in India, there came a moment when where we had an itinerary, and then Kira went into her own, as spirit talks with and through her, and the whole entire thing changed, and we suddenly were on a different, and we were going to a completely different place, and that was profound because we had to travel off of our, where we were going, and we traveled the whole entire day. We didn't know where we were going to eat. We ended up in a beautiful children's orphanage for a moment, and they fed us. Yes. They fed us like impromptu, spontaneously. And we went and we traveled to get there by sunset. And we made it and then we had to walk out because it was going to be, the temple was going to be illuminated out in the water. It was covered during the high tide, and then low tide, the tide went out, and we had a moment to walk a mile
out into the sea,
into the water,
through the mud,
to this sacred temple that revealed itself at low tide. That was written about in the Bhagavad Gita, or in the Mahabharata. Wait, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. So
ancient and profound.
Yes.
And we were out there, and the tide was starting to come in,
yeah.
and we knew we needed to start the journey back.
Yes.
And that sacred journey, even to and from these sacred sites, is part of the ceremony, is part of the energy.
Yes. And, to be guided and trust, and so our mentors and the people that guide us, and so the many ceremonies over eons of time, and the writings and the transmissions that come through the sacred temples, and the land is a sacred temple, and where we come together and we honor it, we create sacredness. So we create a portal, of energy. There was a moment where I work a lot with crystal grids, and I wasn't quite sure what I was doing, but I was teaching also Reiki and things like that. But I got a deeper knowing about that because when I went to England and saw we were journeying towards the crop circles, I saw a vision of like a starburst. And then when we got there, they showed us a picture of the crop circle we were going into, which was end of the season. They hadn't harvested that. And then they showed another picture, and that is what I've been seeing all day long. So I said, where is that? And they said, it's over the hill. It's been harvested. But I was picking up the energy. So that is what's so profound about ceremonies, about creating despachos, about consciously being physically there. We bring light to the planet. When we anchor that light, we're literally stamping a holographic field of beauty. The pattern of that crop circle, the pattern of whatever we're holding there. So that was an inspiration. That was a knowing that came through. This is why, for eons of time, they've created Stonehenge. To many ceremonial sites are over PowerPoints. And so it's ancient, and it's within us. It's energetic. It's illumination, as the shamans say, that when we step into that Ianunai, illuminated soul. So, yeah.
This is the time.
Yes.
To anchor that more than ever before, to carry it in your form, to remind the form it's safe, to raise our consciousness together.
Yeah.
All of us. It's time. How are you creating ceremony, ritual? It can be share some small ways, right,
Right.
Mari? What are some small ways? Like, somebody saying, this is all kind of new to me. What's one small step? Because every step has an energy to it. Our whole journey, every step creates a ripple effect. So a moment of this presence, this ceremony, what's something people could start?
Well, lighting a candle.
Mm.
I mean, it's simply lighting a candle. So you can light a candle, or bringing your hands to your heart and bringing it in reverence, and breathing. Breathing is really key. So you breathe, and when you connect to your breaths, and then you step into the present moment, there's many ways you can create a circle of flowers. You can create a small altar where, when you walk by that every day, you see maybe there's a vase with a flower, a rose, or some beautiful flower that you really appreciate. Could be a picture of an angel, a person you adore, a sacred master that you aspire to, a teaching. It could be a color. I mean, as an artist, I see beautiful things and I collect them and put them all over my studio because it's constantly inspiring me.
Inspiring, right?
Yeah.
And because everything has energy, everything.
Yeah.
And she brings forward a beautiful points about, are we creating space in our environment that causes us to pause, to be present, and that beauty in our homes, keep creating spaces that bring more of who you are. What's beauty to you? For me, it's definitely flowers. I live in Michigan, in upper Michigan. We have a longer, cold winter. And I go and get fresh flowers for my table. And those flowers help me to anchor more, with the earth, with the green during the white, the cold, the inner. But and putting sometimes then by the bedside, flowers, collecting even sacred. We've collected a lot of sacred stones, gems from places.
Yes.
And yet, how about that beautiful little rock that a child gave?
Yes.
Something like that. Sitting on my windowsill, I have something like that. Every time I look at it, it's that beautiful heartfelt center from this innocent child. And that's a point of connecting.
It could even be something silly that reminds you. I also have I can sometimes be very serious. So I have a Tigger that's doing cartwheels as a reminder. I
like that.
I think it's maybe just right back there.
Yes.
Because that's important. Another friend collects Yodas, So what reminds
for you?
Yeah, it's not right or wrong. What is your sacred space and what is meaningful, because it's meaningful to you. When you have flowers or something that somebody gave you that's really special, that it brings your love forward. Flowers are bursting with life. That to be reminded, what reminds you, there might be something that you need to be reminded of, to pick up and breathe for a moment. You walk by and you see that sacred space and you stop and remember to breathe. Oh, this is a precious moment, right?
Yep. Stop, breathe. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean,
connecting to the beautiful earth more.
That you have people around you that love you. Sometimes when we're on a journey and you're feeling alone, is that really true? Like, is that really true? When you stop for a moment and remember that we have so much around us.
Yes, especially after this last year.
Yes.
That we've come through. And to be more cognizant of the ways the universe is supporting us.
Yes.
And then here's probably a perfect time to read this beautiful short today's post from another mentor that I love, the Seer Almin. And it says, let's put our hands on our heart and receive these words from this divine master. Walk reverently upon the earth and let your respectful relationship with your own body heal her by proxy. Be grateful for all that the earth gives to sustain you. And do not let the sun set on a single day without leaving the world a better place than it was the day before. No matter how small or insignificant your contribution may seem. Isn't that beautiful? That's the seer Almin. So know that you matter. Every small act done with reverence, with presence, love, gratitude is huge. You're making a difference. And so thank you to anybody being here with us today. I want to share that both of us are healers, and our links are going to be with this post. Mari and I, she did the ceremony, this powerful ceremony we opened with, that beautiful, I hope that shared perfectly, picture. And the whole ceremony link will be shared here. You can watch and connect with that. It was so powerful. We had a trinity of women, two of us were anchors. Mari was the main ceremonialist. And yet we did have the fourth for perfect balance. 4 is perfect balance. She was the behind the camera.
Yeah.
And I was called to offer some help, clearing with the beautiful golden chalice. Yeah. And we each played our part. And that energy's there to experience in your own way for you. So that will all be there. But Mari, how can people reach you? They're like, I want to know more. You sound amazing.
Oh, thank you. MariMendoza.com. Look on my website. I have free meditations there.
Yes. Lots that you can access to connect with her energy and reach her through Instagram also. We'll have those links.
Yeah. Mari Mendoza Healing Arts is the Instagram. I do a lot of I specialize in ceremony. So people sometimes they come here and they want to do a retreat, and they will call me to come and facilitate a sound healing or something, a few hours of ceremony specifically for some women that want to do a retreat here. And I come there, I come to you wherever you are, call me.
With all her beautiful sacred tools. She's these beautiful feathers I got to experience, the color, the energy from all of these pieces, sound, all of it. So take a look at that link to that ceremony.
And it's Master Medical Intuitive. She is amazing. She is amazing. She can tune in and just know exactly. When I had a reading with her, I was so surprised that she picked up certain things. And after I listened to it again, I'm like, yes, oh my goodness, of course, because I was looking for some help around my nutrition and maybe something that was getting in the way of balance, whatever it was. And she tuned right into it. So, it's,
that's my love.
That's her love. That's really what she's good at. Very, very
medical intuition and sharing and helping people heal.
Besides the gorgeous light that comes out of her when she smiles in her eyes, amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. It's an honor to have spent this time with my soul sister, and we thank you all for being with us. And may you have a beautiful week post equinox.
Yes, wonderful spring.
Yes.
New beginnings.
Trust your new beginnings.
Yeah.
Take your steps being you.
Yay.
Namaste.
Namaste.